Hello, my name is Luke Williams. I'm a technical trainer for Poly and I work from home. Live streaming a lesson may seem daunting at first, so here are some tips to ensure that you and your students have a good live streaming experience. Start the lesson by taking an online roll call. This will build a sense of community and also gives an opportunity to test the audio and the video of all the participants. Set the ground rules before the lesson begins. For example, you may ask everyone to mute unless they are speaking, or state that they must have their video on or off as per your organisation's specific policy. Send these rules out with the lesson invites and quickly summarise them again at the start of the actual lesson. Be sure to look directly into your video camera to establish eye contact with the people you're speaking to. For example, you can see even now, as currently I'm speaking into the video, I have a good sense of eye contact with you. But if I look away from the camera and start addressing my remarks just off in other directions, it becomes a lot harder to maintain focus, and over time that connection goes and people's attentions might slip. To keep your students' attention, you may also need to increase the amount of interactivity in your lesson. For example, you could make use of online polls to quiz your students, or increase the amount of questions that you ask. You might encourage more discussion from the class than usual, but be sure to moderate these discussions so that all students get a chance to participate. Many video conferencing solutions also allow you to use an interactive whiteboard that you can share with your students. Make the use of this board a key part of your online lessons, and get your students involved in the use of that whiteboard as well. Advise your students before the lesson begins that there will be opportunities to participate. That way they can prepare and feel happy to get engaged in the discussions or the participation sessions. Remember, the attention spans of different age groups tend to vary. Younger children may struggle to focus on tasks and may need more videos or breaks in the lesson. But as the student's age progresses, it becomes easier for them to become task-focused. They will require less breaks, and you can get them engaged with things like group discussions or online testing. Now, here are some tips to specifically help your students remain focused during a lesson. You might consider telling all of your students to mute their audio and their video unless they are speaking to avoid distracting each other. Most video conferencing software comes with a text chat function. You can encourage your students to raise questions in this chat to avoid them talking over each other. Some video conferencing software also comes with a raise hand button to allow students to signify that they wish to ask a question or contribute to the discussion. If possible, have a teaching assistant manage the chat window whilst you teach the lesson. This allows the assistant to screen for and raise any questions that the students raise in the chat box, and also to give any feedback that's required. Overall, try to find as many opportunities as possible for your students to do rather than listen. And remember, when it comes to video conferencing, your students may know more than you, and that's okay. For many students and younger people, it's been their primary means of communication long before COVID-19. So acknowledge it. By letting your students know that you understand that they may be more video conference savvy than you are, you'll eliminate any sense of student-teacher competition, and you might even be able to encourage your students to help you where they can. The goal is not to pass on your video conferencing prowess, but rather your knowledge of the subject that you're teaching. And don't worry if things sometimes go wrong. A cat wanders into shot, a piece of software doesn't work quite right. Sooner or later, something like this is inevitable. Simply acknowledge the issue, deal with it, and move on. And if you'd like even more tips on remote education, please check out the blog post by Poly's Head of Marketing Planning, June Williams. Links are in the description below. Thanks for watching.